Welcome to another episode of the No Ceilings Podcast. I am Tyler Metcalf, joined as always by the one and only Tyler Rucker. Rucker, how are we doing?
Fantastic. Just really, really pumped to be here. How are you doing, Metcalf? Let's just keep it short and simple. I mean, draft season full swing. We had a big board this week at NoCeilingsNBA.com. We're back. Plug before the first minute. So I'm doing good. We had the initial public offerings today too with the draft. So it's been a great week. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Good to have college basketball back, obviously. Kind of some duds in terms of matchups this week.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to be a little more disciplined and scout the matchups and focus on stop caring so much about when a powerhouse team plays a D3 team. I think those are 40 minutes of basketball that I don't necessarily need to see every second of anymore. So it's been shockingly kind of a light week. That'll change once we get conference play going, but it's wonderful time of the year. Overreactions galore. Like you said, NoCeilingsNBA.com. Corey put out the kind of draft community consensus rankings over there, which will come into play later today once we dive into the stock game. I'll explain all those rules and whatnot once we get there, but always a fun segment. What else? Tomorrow I will have a profile on Nique Clifford, how he's improved his game over at NoCeilingsNBA.com. Go check it out. Got a ton of stuff going up every day, basically, over on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter, NoCeilingsNBA, across all socials, and on Blue Sky. All the kids are doing it now, so why not? It's part of the game. Let's go have some fun.
Please, no more Aura comments. I left those in the last episode.
Well, who knows where we'll be at come green room time. But today we got we're going to start out with some early season my guys. So guys that we're really big fans of coming into the year and have been encouraged about with their starts. And it's more of an invitation to, hey, come join us on the bandwagon. Come enjoy these guys. It's not we're not staking claim. It's more of an invitation. So Rucker, I think we shared, we ran through each other's lists before we started recording, and there was a lot of overlap. Shocker.
But not everywhere I thought, though.
No.
I thought one was going to be for sure. I thought two maybe. It was interesting. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm very, very happy that you explained it that way, because I didn't need someone thinking that we were like, hey, these are my guys for the 25 NBA draft.
No, I figured everyone, it out. These are our guys. You're not allowed to watch them, like them, root for them ever.
I figured out who are the perfect guys, and November 14th, it's done. We're good.
We solved it. So you know what? Big board's done. Rankings over. Rest of the year is going to be a breeze. No one else is worth watching, and you definitely cannot watch or root for any of these guys. No, I'm kidding, obviously. But first one that we overlapped on, Tre Johnson, guard out of Texas. My goodness, is he off to a start?
He looks fantastic, Metcalf. He looks better than you know what? Maybe I'll take that back now that I was going to say that out loud. I thought he was going to look awesome because of the scoring, the firepower with his outside shot, how smooth he can get, and he's just a buckets machine. But, I was about to say, like, oh, he looks better than that. No, he looks what I thought. Maybe I'm just waiting now to see if we get, like, me and you have talked about his playmaking, and it's tough in those first couple of games because if you don't really just like shock people with the playmaking out of the gate, people are going to be like, well, can he pass? And it's like Tre Johnson's got some fantastic vision and anticipation with the ball in his hands. So I think he's more than just a shooter. I think he's got some versatility. Go ahead.
Well, what we always say about assists is to get an assist, the other guy has to
make it.
Exactly. And there's not a whole lot of shooting or offensive firepower on this Texas team. They have not been my favorite watch, but Tre's certainly helping in that. So I think he's going to be one of these guys where at the end of the year, it wouldn't shock me if his kind of raw assist numbers, his assist to turnover ratio, I would anticipate that they probably look pretty mediocre by the end of the year, but I don't think they're going to do proper justice to how good his passing will be, has been, and even going back to FIBA 2 years ago, it's always been something in his game that's really popped.
Is it going to be the Cade Cunningham thing again, where we're all going to be like, hey, ignore all the numbers because look at the assist numbers are low? I mean, hold on. It's 3 games. So everyone just calm down. He's averaging 25.3 points, 3 rebounds, 2.7 assists. He's shooting 57, 58, 80 right now. And that's on 8 3-point attempts a game. Like, I don't care if it's a small, that's ridiculous. So I'm expecting him to hit a wall at some point this year and come back down to earth, like we saw with Reed Shepherd a little bit last year, and then all of a sudden it just didn't take that next because he's a freak. But with Tre, it's just he's a bucket machine. Like, he's gonna get the shots up. You're gonna hit your cold spells.
My biggest curiosity with him over this next month or two is, can he avoid the Jacoby Walter arc where, you know, we mentioned it last episode, I think, or 2 ago, but Jacoby, kind of similar builds of guys who, in terms of height, weight, Tre's not the biggest guy. He's not the strongest, most explosive guy, similar to Jacoby, but I do think he has a better handle. I think he sees the floor better than Jacoby did at this point. But right now, Tre's probably not number 1 on most teams' scouting report from a defensive standpoint, at least, if not yet. You know, he's probably soon to be. So once that kind of changes, once teams start getting a little more physical with him, and really having their whole defensive scheme skewed around him, that's when I'm going to be really interested to see, okay, there's going to be a slump at some point, but how prolonged is it and how aggressive is it?
Completely agree. I mean, they got, you know, now with the reshuffling of all the conferences and everything, I still feel like it doesn't really make much of a difference with Texas sometimes because they just play everyone. But like, they got Syracuse coming up next week at Texas. Donnie
Freeman action.
Little Donnie Freeman. Yeah. And then December 8th, UConn, Texas. That'll be a big one. And then they look at this stretch. They've got they play A&M on the road, Auburn at home, Tennessee at home.
Him and Chad Baker Mazzara may kill each other.
But like I'm looking at this now, like that's the gauntlet I want to see. Yeah, if you produce through those 3 games with consistency, like, you know, A&M's always scrappy, and Auburn will be a dogfight for him because they'll just be throwing it at him. And
if
Tennessee
their plane makes it,
if their plane makes it, and one trip. So tough games we got, and then we got Arkansas and Alabama down the road, and Kentucky. That's a pretty fun one. Those are 3 and 4 games. So he's going to be tested this year. If he gets through this gauntlet of madness and it's still putting up impressive numbers, like if I told you he's in the high teens and shooting 40, 40, 80, I mean, why is he not in the top 5?
What if he's already in the top 5?
I don't think it's that unrealistic because he's got good size. He's a lethal shooter. And I think he
has a lot of shit to his personality too. He talks.
Yes.
He is competitive as hell. I love it.
I love that. And I do really think the playmaking is going with more film and more time, and people are going to be like, oh, this kid has a lot to his game. So he's not just a, you know, I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's not Jordan Hawkins. You're getting a go-to, like, go get me a bucket guy. And Jordan's just this dangerous, like, runs everywhere. Tre can get his shot. Tre can make plays for people. Like,
so if we're thinking ultimate upside, it's obviously early. We're going to get a little reckless here, but we're talking 99th percentile.
Like, everything Booker works. Who'd you say?
Devin Booker.
Yeah, if
he has to get a lot stronger, obviously. You're right. I'm talking 99th, 100th percentile.
Okay, 99th Booker, 100th Ray Allen.
Oh, don't tease me.
I know, but
Ray had some pop to his game back in the day.
He did. He was bad, man.
People forget.
Well, okay, let's bring it back even more. Like if we're getting a quicker Middleton.
Yeah, he's not like 6'8", though. He's like, what,
Yeah.
6'4"?
So where are we at then? Because we're saying some fun names
Yeah.
that made a lot of money and played a long time. We're all stars.
He doesn't have that pop.
No, he's gonna. I don't mean that in a bad way from Malik, but there's some stuff to this game. I'm trying to get better about swearing. I have a kid now, so like I'm trying not to say, but so you can do that for me. I just think there's some dangerous paths in a good way for Tre Johnson. I think he's going to continue to impress a lot of people, and if he gets through this tough opponent stretch this year, we're gonna have some fun conversations about Tre Johnson.
Agreed. Okay. He was number 1 on my list. He was on your list as well, so I'm claiming him. But moving on, who's next on your list?
I had to do it. Egor Demin at BYU. I'm in. I'm all in. I'm kidding. I am just very, very in. Lower level competition to start the year. I understand that. But it's what I'm seeing on the court. It's also what we had this foundation watching him last year overseas of being like, man, there's him and Kasparis. It was like, well, there's some stuff there.
Yeah.
And then you found out they were coming to the States for college hoops, and you're like, this could be a very big development for the future of college basketball if these kids now are like actually in on like, I don't care what you say. The NIL is a big reason why. Mm-hmm. And now if you could come here, you get more exposure with NBA scouts and whatnot. So he has looked so fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm just talking about like last year to now of how he's playing the game. He's going to get punched in the mouth this year. Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying, like, we're going to have a game where we're like, okay, here's the scout game. You're going to go back and watch this and say what happened, what went wrong. And that's fine, but it's a fantastic start, Metcalf. I mean, it is tremendous, and it's the size, the versatility, the swagger on the court. Like, he just looks like he's playing at a different speed than everybody else.
It's because he is.
Yeah.
The game is just moving way slower for him. He's manipulating everything. I know it hasn't been top tier competition, but it hasn't been total, no name bums either. So he's just making it look incredibly easy. And yeah, the numbers probably aren't going to be this outlandish all year, but they're also not like overtly extreme. I think he's going to be incredibly efficient, incredibly effective throughout the entire season. And it's just one of those guys where you can just kind of see it right away. The way he moves, the way he operates on both ends of the floor, the way he sets up everyone else, manipulates defenders, spaces the floor, attacks gaps. He just has an understanding that most guys his age don't have, especially in college basketball right now. And it's a real testament to kind of his developmental arc before he even came over.
I like how you put that. And it's not an arrogant way. Like, we're not saying like, oh, we can easily see it. There's just guys you watch and you immediately, like, there's players I watch and immediately when I can tell, like, my eyes are locked. So like, I'm like, oh, this is a real watch. Like, this is something serious. And then you get glued to it. You get addicted to it. Like, I'm hunting the schedule now. Like, when do they play next? Like, that's the fun part with prospects is when you get excited to watch that. And then you gotta have to come back down to earth and be like, okay, don't do this off of emotion. Like, just be level headed. But he's fantastic. Is there an area of his game you're just like, hey, I like everything, but I'm, come on, just fix that. Like, everything's on the path, but like this one's straggling away. If we're being picky.
I know, there for me, there are always questions about obscene shooting early in the year. So it's like, all right, how real is this? What are the kind of levels to this as we keep going? And the defense ratchets up a little bit more, kind of that, and the rim pressure. Can he kind of sustain this? Like, when he goes against Arizona, is he going to be able to get as many paint touches and pressure the rim and collapse the defense as consistently and effectively as he is right now? And once that kind of first move of his gets cut off, what do the counters look like? How does he adjust? How does he adapt? We kind of saw Cooper Flagg go through a similar thing against that Kentucky team where I really like Cooper's like first or second dribble move, especially like that hang dribble into the crossover. He's really comfortable with it. But when we saw the handle get loose was when that got cut off. The defender sat on his drive and made him implement like a third move, like a behind the back or a spin. And that's where the handle got loose. Second last possession of that game, he turned it over doing that. So I think Yegor's handle is way better, obviously, but once those types, NBA level ish defenders start kind of presenting themselves, possession after possession after possession, and figuring out his game, what do his counters look like? From tip off to final whistle.
I'm going to that Arizona game because I think it's going to be the ultimate test, and I can't wait. Like. They're going to throw Jaden Bradley at him. They're going to throw KJ Lewis at him. They might throw Carter Bryant at him. They are going to throw multiple guys at him to try to bully him. And, it's funny when you look at the numbers, you're like, oh man, 17, 4, and 7.7. Then you're like, wait, 65, 50, 28. I get to the free throw. I'm like, what the heck? But it's just limited sample. It's early. I'm like you. I just want to see how he does against the big dogs. But like if we're at a point, I get to this point where I'm like, hey, if my pickiest thing is that you haven't faced anyone equal to you, what if you do, if you go and deliver against them, what are we going to say then? Are we just fine? And right now I completely agree. If people are like, hey, I want to wait till he plays someone, I'm like, fine. Okay. That's fine. But don't bring that to me. Don't find a new lane if all of a sudden he delivers there. So I'm excited to see what he does.
Agreed. Okay. Next for me, guy that I had a first round grade on last year, mid-major school. I love how he's kind of already improving his game. Wrote about it for Friday. NoCeilingsNBA.com. Go check it out. Nique Clifford, wing from Colorado State.
It's on my list. Was on my list. I am holding off on doing my Nique Clifford dive as long as possible, and it's because I love him. And if I'm scared what's going to happen if I do that, because I think I'm going to move him up 10 spots. Are you more impressed after doing your piece? I'm really excited to read your piece, by the way.
Yeah, he just rocks. So the big concerns with him last year were, first, how real was the shooting leap? Because the volume is okay, is better. The percentages were better, but neither were great. I think it was like 38% on like 3 attempts a game. It's fine, but you'd like both those numbers to be higher, obviously. But it's also a huge leap from the previous year and what we saw from him at Colorado. So it's like, okay, cool. The other question was, what does he do when he gets run off his spot? Why is the volume low? And can he actually do anything when he's forced to put the ball on the floor? In that tournament game against Virginia, we saw him carve him up, attacking closeouts, second side pick and roll, pushing in transition is fantastic. But it's the first time we kind of saw that in volume. So far this year, I think we're seeing it every single game from him. So he's not going to be this primary initiator, this point forward, whatever you want to classify it as, but as someone who is currently shooting like 50% from 3, obviously early, but the volume's higher, the percentage is higher. And when defenders are running him off his spot, he's getting to his spots in the mid-range. He's driving and kicking out and dumping off to cutters. He's being put in motion, the off-ball movement, his ability to find open pockets, set an off-ball screen, relocate, set another screen, relocate again, shot fake, attack, close out, get to the rim, all within the same possession is really, really fun. And that's the type of growth that we wanted to see from him last year. And he's taken that step forward. So I don't think the counting numbers and all that stuff already looks a lot better, but the usage is only up like 1 or 2 points. So it's not like he's just being allowed to go out there and do whatever he wants and really boost those counting numbers. But instead he's improving where it matters in terms of who he'll probably be asked to be in the NBA.
See, the funny thing is, last year I actually thought his playmaking's very slept on. Like, I think he has the ability to make beautiful reads, understand where the ball is going to go. Like, just a guy that really popped where I was like, oh, there's an understanding of reading the floor this way. He for sure knows how to dissect the floor on the defensive side of the ball. And
it's still fun. Don't worry.
I just, if I was in a front office and I was a playoff team, I would be jumping all over a player like Nique Clifford to just add to the mix and be like, everyone, good luck with taking your high potential guys. Like, I might get a guy that's going to play 10 years and be a playoff rotation guy. And I just think the world of him. And then if that shot really is going to be legit, and I'm not saying it has to be his go-to weapon, but if he's a respectable 3-and-D guy, we talked about this earlier. I don't care about his age. If he can be a 3-and-D guy and he's consistent this whole year, he should be a first-round pick.
Yeah, but like the fact that he's showing more than just standing in the corner, that like, because those guys are really rapidly phasing out of the league unless they have like some obscene, defensive skill or something. You can't just put guys in the corner. They're too easy to guard. They're too easy to deal with. And he's showing that, okay, he can relocate. He can kind of hit a pseudo movement 3 or attack a closeout and just do other stuff. And we're seeing guys like Aaron Wiggins and Lou Dort and Christian Brown, kind of elevate to those levels. Obviously, those are a lot of the higher end outcomes. Keon Ellis, those types of role players where their usage isn't going to be astronomical, but if they need to create something in a pinch, they can. If you need to throw them on the best perimeter option on the other team to defend, they can. Can they make the extra pass? Can they push in transition? Have just a base set of ball skills where they can facilitate and keep the offense flowing. And so far, obviously early, but so far, Clifford is really showing that basically every game.
Yeah. I mean, if he's taking this next step and it's going to be like this whole year, like, I don't mean to say 3-and-D is like Nique gets downhill and is nasty. Like, he's got that athleticism. He's got that length. He's very, very fun and very skilled. I thought he was a first-round prospect last year, and then when he came back, I was like, hell yeah, gamble on yourself. It might be this year's Dylan Jones. Like, hey, I'm doubling down on myself. I'm gonna prove everyone I got another level to my game, and he's off to a great start. If he can keep that up, and I don't know why he wouldn't be a first-round pick, unless he just has a horrendous pre-draft process or something. And I know we're talking in November, but love him. I absolutely think he's just a guy that's going to play a lot of high-level basketball for years to come.
Okay, let's take our first ad break before we move on. Okay, Rucker, who's next on your list?
I'm going to go, are we doing 3 or 4?
3 each, but we kind of shared one with Tre.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I had Nique too, so I'm gonna go Carter Bryant, baby. That's my guy that I'm just sort of. I just can't stop like feeling. I can't stop fighting this feeling. We've seen him. Excuse me, sorry, Metcalf. We've seen him. We saw him 2 years ago in Portland.
Back-to-back years.
Back-to-back years in Portland. And
Portland Generals.
The transformation he's had since that first year physically,
it's like, oh my God,
is ridiculous. But we also saw first year like absolute relentless work ethic.
He was out there for like an hour and a half until
after the game.
All of the NBA scouts and GMs and coaches left. He was the last one there.
After the scrimmages, sorry. I don't want to confuse anyone. And I think he's just getting better, and he just keeps, every time I've watched a couple of these Arizona games, like he's flashed, he's done some really good stuff. I don't think he's going to open any eyes, with his like points per game this year, but I think he's starting to show right now, like, oh, there's some nice stuff. I don't know. I just one of those guys where I'm like, I'm banking on this. If that work ethic we saw in Portland is something that is always going to be around, and given his talent, like I liked him before, and then seeing it, how much better he got in 1 year, and then seeing now what his body's like, I'm like, goodness.
Yeah.
He's on the Giannis diet. So, I mean, what do you think? Are you a fan? Or are you just wait and see?
Yeah, I haven't really been able to dive into a ton of Arizona yet. Waiting for that competition level to pick up a little bit.
Yeah, you got to pick your spots with Caleb Love, so you got to pick your spots. You know, actually, you don't know.
But you know, before people really roll their eyes at, you know, oh, we saw him working out a lot. It wasn't fake. Obviously,
No.
you know, it was calculated because he knew who he was in front of. He was intelligent about, like, oh, this is a huge opportunity for me. Let's not waste it. But he was working his ass off. It wasn't just going through the motions. It was like he was getting his third, fourth, and fifth workout in of the day. And you know, I've talked with his dad some. Incredibly nice family. He seems like a great kid. Everything you hear about him couldn't be more glowing. And those are the types of guys that you want to bet on. And then you add in like what he actually does on the court, and it's like, okay, yeah, what's there not to like? My only kind of question, you kind of hinted at it. Do you think he's going to be a for sure one and done, or do you think the opportunity, usage, minute load, all of that kind of stuff may kind of tilt him towards coming back and being a big time sophomore breakout?
I would have said a while ago I would lean towards the sophomore breakout. Okay. I think it's slowly. He's like, you know, when a young guy starts playing good in those limited minutes, and you're like, you clearly meant for more time, more run. Like it seems like it's getting that, and then he's making good decisions out there. He's starting to get that 3-point balls like coming consistently. You just watch, and you're like, this guy looks like he should probably be on the court most of the time. And I think that Duke game coming up soon might be a little bit of the ring in the dinner bell for a lot of draft fans if he has a good showing. Obviously, that Arizona team's got a lot of vets, got a lot of pieces, but like at some point you get to a game and you're like, hey, we have a talented 6'9" forward or 6'8" forward that can do a little bit of stuff. And Rocky, I like how you put it that way. I just wanted to go back to your point about like, hey, we are not going off of what we saw with just a workout. We saw guys come in 2 minutes before the game. And then we also saw
after the tip.
Yeah, or after the tip. We also saw guys like Carter that understood the situation, but it wasn't just that. Like, it was seeing that and then being like, you're on my radar now. Let me follow you. Mm-hmm. And he started climbing up the ranks. Then he started really climbing up the ranks. Then he goes to Arizona, and I'm like, oh my gosh, amazing. I got to go travel down the road and go see him. And then just what his body, like, he was skinny then. I was like, gosh, he just needs to put on weight. And in 2 years, he's looking like this. So that tells you another, like, the work ethic wasn't fake there.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those guys, like, I would be betting on, like, that he's going to figure it out. He's going to be a heck of a player. And I do think he's going to end up being a one and done. I really do. I think that's going to be where NBA teams are flirting with, like, well, he might not be ready, but he's also really close. Yeah. And I don't think he's technically pre-draft. I think you're just getting him and being very pumped that, hey, we got him at 14. If he went back, he's going 5.
Yeah, it almost kind of feels like the Keyshawn George, Buck Barrington, Cody Williams arc of like, is he totally ready? He's like, maybe not. And then it's just like, man, there's just too much talent and intangibles and physical tools here to not go. Or, you know, not take him.
It's him working out the whole pre-draft process, and someone says to him, like, yeah, you're probably going 15. And he's like, and then on draft night, he goes 9th, and we're all like, whoa. And we're like, okay. Like, it's fine. If you love him, you love him. So now we got a long way to go, but I see that path because there's just good forward with size and versatility and floor spacing potential. And he's smart. He makes good plays on there. So go ahead.
Okay. That's all I got on Carter. Last guy on my list, transfer wing, upperclassman again. Went a little deeper with this one, but Rylan Griffen from Kansas. Really, really liked him at Alabama last year and the year before. Had a draftable grade on him last year, not first round, but mid second-ish. And I just, we talk about 3-and-D ability to do a little bit more. The shot hasn't quite fallen for him yet, but given the 2 years at Alabama, I'm not worried about it. It's going to come. But in that Michigan State game specifically, I thought he was one of their best players on the court. I thought him and Zeke Mayo were probably their two best players, especially when we talk about kind of NBA translation. Just his defense is so competitive, really versatile. Love the way he moves, his awareness. He's had some big time, like weak side blocks this year already. And then he's starting to attack closeouts a little more aggressively and not just launching everything from three like he did at Alabama, like everyone tends to do at Alabama. But he's kind of similar to Clifford, where he's starting to show a little bit more ball skills and feel and just off-ball creation versatility.
I haven't watched. I was on baby duty, the Kansas Michigan State game, and I had about 5 texts, and then I opened Twitter and saw like 5 straight tweets about like, oh, this is a brutal watch. I was like, well, I picked a heck of a game, so I haven't dove back. Like, I'm gonna watch it, but I just haven't done that jump. I've always liked him, but it feels like you're just repeating what I thought last year of like, oh, are we going to have another year of like, well, if I hate the if guys.
What do you
I
mean
like
if?
them.
Like if
he shoots it, if it takes the next step.
I think he's a legit shooter. He was a very good shooter.
Is he just adjusting to like?
Yeah, I think it's new setting, new team,
but
all that kind of stuff.
You're leaning a little bit on the defense there. That gets me even more peaked.
Oh, I've always liked his defense. It's just he's always been on the skinnier side, so that obviously limits him somewhat. But again, a guy I mentioned earlier, like a Keon Ellis type of player, I don't think that's an unreasonable outcome for him.
Yeah, it's. I also. Sorry, Jayhawks fans. I just can't stand watching them usually.
Why?
They always get a guy that stays there for 15 years. We all know this. And then their offense, I feel like offensive guys go there to die. They become better basketball players, but like it doesn't seem like an awesome place to go be just like, hey, here's the ball and Bill Self can coach. So I'm not.
Yeah, I think they do a hell of a job developing guys.
Yes, they do a great job developing. It's just sometimes I'm like, hey, can we have the 30-point guy? Like, can we just feed him? Like, he's got the hot hand. Like, so I don't know, but so I just want to see Griffen. But like, yes, you're right. They develop some fantastic players, but that's a good one. Good.
It would be nice if he started having a couple, 5 of 8, 6 of 10, 7 of 8. 3-point shooting nights. I'm sure they'll come, but
we're not asking much.
Let's pick it up. But I like Zeke Mayo a lot, but I think Griffen is their best perimeter NBA prospect.
I do too.
Okay,
I do too.
Last guy on your list. Who you got?
I had Asa Newell.
Love it.
I'm going a little boring, little chalk early on. I was trying to get a little adventurous and out of the box, but these are my guys for the rest of the year. We already said this, that you don't need to scout them anymore. Everyone. Yeah, hands off.
Nothing.
I'm just big believer. Big buyer. We've talked about him a lot. I feel like people are fascinated about the 3-point shot, and I'm not really that worried about it.
I think
I wasn't
long term.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting like, hey, Ace has got to shoot 38% this year, or he's screwed. It's like, no, he can play. He's a big body guy down there. So I don't know. I think it's simple. It's pretty sweet. He plays with his hair on fire. He's fluid. He's got good length. He's got some pop on his verticality, and dude dude is a very good rim protector. I think he's got good defensive instincts. So,
on and off ball, I love the way he moves his feet. I think the shot will be fine. You know, like Bobby Portis level shooter, but stretch it out to 3 a little more consistently. I don't know. Like I'm not worried about the shot. Is he going to be elite? Is he going to be, Kevin Durant out there? No. But can he knock down a pick and pop and then add some versatility with attacking those closeouts and occasionally rim run and be a really good cutter and spot up guy in the corner? Yeah, I'm not worried about the shot long term. I don't expect him to get up to 40% this year from 3.
No.
I also don't care. Like it's just not something that's going to overly skew my eval of him unless he just simply doesn't make another one for the rest of the year. Then we may need to talk.
Yeah, if he's like 18% from 3 at the end of the year and 50% from the line, I'll be like, maybe we're talking. But like, I don't think it's going to get to that point. If there's somehow his 3-point percentage on like a solid volume starts with a 3, I think that's a humongous win for him. Dude's going to put up some numbers this year, and he's going to, same thing we talked about with Tre Johnson. Like, he's going to have a couple matchups. We're going to be like, if you can survive this and show some stuff, things are going to heat up in a hurry. If he starts shooting it, everyone better put me in a straitjacket because I'm going to be freaking out. I'm going to be like, oh man, let's ride. So that's all I got.
Yeah, I think those the Alabama matchup will be fascinating.
Yes.
The Auburn one will be really interesting as well.
Ooh, Auburn will beat him up. Auburn's going to beat him up.
There's a lot of physicality, a lot of experience there, so should be fun. All right, let's take our last ad break, and then we'll move on to first round of stock game and the green room. All right, Rucker. First round of stock game. Always have a blast with this. Let me just try and pull up this spreadsheet here.
I actually prepped this year. So am I 0 for 2?
You are.
In the last 2 years? Okay.
I've beaten you 2 years in a row.
So you need to you won. You can have first pick unless we just make it every last year's name or last place gets first pick. I don't think that's right though.
No, I'm going to be greedy here and take the first pick. Okay. But just to kind of, I should probably explain the game a little bit.
Yeah, just the newcomers.
So, at the opening of the show, I mentioned Corey's kind of community-wide consensus ranking, and we're going off of that. So the ranking over here on the far left is the average ranking. And what we're doing is kind of constructing a portfolio of prospects and how their stock in the draft community is going to change throughout the year. So we have a base price of 100. So Cooper Flag's average ranking is 1. And we're just going to take that average ranking, take the base price of 100, divided by that average ranking to get his price of 100. Ace Bailey, average price at 2.2, gets us a price of $45 per share. We each have $1,000 to work with our initial budget. Throughout the year, as kind of Corey updates this on the site, we will update our portfolios, buy, sell, and kind of track throughout the year. And whoever makes the most money, quote unquote money, at the end of the year after the draft wins. Also, No Ceilings Plus subscribers do get access to this, and they get to compete along with us. Had a lot of fun doing it last year. Really excited for it this year. And whoever wins gets a free piece of merch on me. Anything I'm missing?
No, it's fantastic. I mean, everyone in No Ceilings Plus that does this with us, it's pretty cool. People get pumped about this. If you're listening and not watching on YouTube, we're going to have a lot of numbers. All you got to do is pretty much, go see the rankings and on noceilingsnba.com, and you can kind of figure it out, track. If you really want to play and I do it. Just send us a DM. We'll be able to send you this and help you out.
All right. Okay, so we'll do our best to describe it.
Yeah.
For the audio audience,
You're doing a great job.
A visual person, head
Yeah.
over to YouTube. What are you doing?
Yeah, come on.
Click that like button and subscribe.
We're not that ugly.
There. Hey,
Go ahead. Just take the first pick. You've clearly been foaming at the mouth since like for everyone listening, Metcalf is usually really nice. And he'll send me like an email in the morning of like, hey, here's the stock game. So like I can actually look at it throughout the day. I think I got this from you early. So you've been plotting. Oh, you probably were like, hey, I should have set this last night. I probably would have been up if you did.
Also, once one of us buys a prospect or invests in a prospect, they are off the board for the other person. So there's no doubling up unless someone sells completely.
Yep.
But first off, I'm going Egor Demin.
You already wrote that down before you even explained that. So that's a big one. That's probably the most important thing is like now I can't take Egor unless Metcalf sells him completely. Or wait, I'm sorry, you just phrased that. You have to sell him completely, right?
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Oh man, early. That's a lot. All right. So his average ranking is 13.2 for a price of $7.58 per share. I gotta imagine that's going up.
Yeah, that's great. Great work.
I'm gonna go 75 shares for a total of 568.
Fantastic.
So I have 430 left. Who are you going with?
I'm really proud for you, but I think that was a great pick. I probably would have done the same thing, but here we go. I'm gonna take give me three. I'm gonna take 200 shares of Will Riley.
Oh, is he a penny? He's not.
He is at 43rd, okay. So he is $2.20, and we are going to the moon. It's Dr. Evil, folks. Gentlemen, I'm about to go to the moon. I'm shocked at some of these numbers. I told you, you're in trouble this year. Third time's a charm. I actually did my homework. I plotted today. Read the Wall Street.
Okay. So at $2.30 a share, that's good value.
Thank you.
Okay. Where do I want to go? I'm gonna go Boogie Fland.
I thought you would.
Let's see, where is he? 24.2, 413 per share. Let's go. What does 20 shares get me? Let's go 25 shares for a little over 100. I got 328 left.
Okay. I'm going to go 100 shares of Derek Queen at 182.
Alrighty. Okay. Derek Queen, average ranking of 54.8, 182 per share.
Okay.
Alrighty.
What do I got left?
You got 358 left.
Great.
I'm
going to piss you off with this next one.
Oh, no.
I'm a dangerous person when I get some time to prep. When I can actually breathe, it's fun.
Oh, boy. All right. So God, I feel like there's an obvious one I'm missing.
Oh, there is. I quadruple checked it today.
Oh, and
if I miss it, shout out Carter in the chat with the enjoy your work. Really appreciate it.
We appreciate you, Carter.
We like to have new folks in here. Tell your friends. Don't bite.
Ooh,
got some of the regulars in the chat. We love you guys too.
Okay. I'm going to go penny stock. Oh, also, if they're not on here, so if they don't make this top 60, they're $1.
I'm going to be so pissed.
I'm going to go Cam Jones.
That's actually a good pick. I didn't have that. Wow, that's a good one.
That
one hurt.
Let's go 80. 80 shares, just under 250 remaining. Okay, what are you gonna piss me off with?
I'm gonna piss you off, or I'm gonna be bold here. So how much do I have?
You have 358 on the dot.
I'm not on my usual setup anymore, folks. So if you see me, I'm doing this on a miniature laptop. So just bear with me if I look like I can't see. I'm gonna go 100 shares of Mark Sears.
Oh, okay.
He's a penny stock.
Really?
That's what I'm shocked at.
Man, see that?
Can you confirm it? I've looked at the list 5 times.
Well, let's show it quick. Yep.
Wow.
The disrespect, you know.
What did he do to hurt everyone? Just be good and small?
Very small. But very good. God,
I mean, if they make another run this year and they're good, he's going to start buzzing again around tournament time. And this is what we do every year.
With the older guys. Him,
and then they
Cam
get the
Jones.
Jalen Brunson content out again. Where they're like, hey, Jalen Brunson. So I'm going to keep that one rocking.
Yeah, can I just republish my piece from last year? Do I have to rewrite it? Or can I just do copy-paste? I'll update some numbers. Make sure the years are correct. Okay, I have 248 left. I'm going to go back up the board. I'm going to go with Casper.
It's a good one. I looked at that.
Average ranking of 17.4 for 575 a share. Man, I have no idea why this Illinois team still is unranked.
Is it?
I'm going to go 25 shares.
Is it weird? I absolutely love a player that just like doesn't really shoot. Like I'm joking because he just gets to the free throw line all the time. The dude has built a mansion at the free throw line. It's awesome. Yeah. He takes like 4 shots a game, and you look up and you're like, he had 15. He had 15, 8, and you know what I'm saying? Like, just throwing numbers out there. But like, he's had a couple box scores. I'm like, oh, that's a nice night. And I'm like, he took 4 shots. How did he get that? Like, it's fantastic.
But like, I think once he like even starts bullying people in Big Ten play, people are gonna be like, "Oh shit, this dude's strong." Like, yeah, he's big. Okay, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna go. What do I have left? I'm sorry.
258.
I'll go 20 of Noah Essingay.
Alrighty.
I feel like that's a little low for him. He's at 22. He's at 455 a share. A little low. Now, obviously, I could see him climbing a little bit, but
so it wouldn't shock me if he actually ends up like falling a little bit,
and then goes up.
Come draft time, hot name really starts to kind of skyrocket back up.
I'll be honest, that's one where I'm like, I'm hoping he drops because then I'm going to double down.
Yeah.
And feel like I'm going to be like, okay, move him back.
Yeah. Man, there were a handful of names on here where I was like, can I short the position? Can I?
So badly wanted to be just kind of like, Metcalf, can we have just sold some people, please, right out of the gate? Like, I would love that. There's a lot of names. I was like, no, I don't want that. Like,
yeah. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Cam Jones is not a penny stock.
Oh, wow.
Okay. My bad.
Winning got to your head and you had to try to cheat to keep the streak going.
Okay, so we're going to adjust that to
it'd be amazing if you can't afford Kasparis now and I just slide in and say, I'll take Kasparis.
Oh, that's a bummer. That reading comprehension, folks. Stay in school.
Tough. Hooked on phonics. Okay, I've got 167 left.
Yes, and I am at 131.
Give
me a name. I see.
Wait, I'm up, right?
I'm still up. You just went.
You just took Kasparis.
No, I just took Noah.
You got me distracted with you not knowing how to.
My error.
You don't know how to do math.
Yeah,
but also working
the
in
math
finance.
works. Is the reading part that don't work. I'm gonna go Cannon Catchings.
Good pick. Good pick.
Not loving how aggressively leveraged I am with BYU basketball.
Utah's beautiful. Provo, right? Provo,
yes.
Provo.
I believe so.
Can you tell I've been to Utah a lot? I haven't.
15.
Overdue, some say.
I'm gonna go 15 shares of Cannon.
It might ban me from the state. 15, that's a good number. Congratulations. What do you have left?
I have 97.95.
Okay, so I'm gonna go a little Xavier Lee.
Okay.
For
Where was he?
give me 40.
40 equals. So Xavier Lee, 61.2 average ranking for 163 a share. So you have 101.80 left.
Good numbers.
Xavier's gonna climb. I would expect pretty rapidly. He's fun. He looks bigger this year too.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Go.
Gosh, you're not
ugly.
You're not up. So.
No, I said go ahead.
Well, yeah.
I said go ahead.
I'm scrolling, trying to figure out where there's value to be had. Where is?
I can't believe you tried to say penny stock Cam Jones. That's just incredible.
I corrected my mistake. It was very clearly not intentional.
Yeah.
I'm just a moron.
Jury might find you guilty in court. Just saying it. Just saying it.
I'm struggling. I don't know where to go here. I'll you know what? Since Mark has on the mind, I'll go Chase Ross.
That's a pretty good one.
He's a penny. Let's go 20. No harm, no foul. If nothing comes of it.
Got 100 left. I'm gonna go 20 shares of Donnie Freeman.
Alrighty, where's he at?
He's like at 26 or something.
There he is, 29.
29, even better.
For 336.
I forgot sometimes I gotta look at this because sometimes you gotta play ahead. Like more than ever. Because if you spend all your money, then you're like, well, I don't want to sell anything.
Which is where I may
I might be, yeah.
Can
you write Donnie down for me? And
didn't put the name.
Yeah, just don't want you getting creative and
what? Yeah, you wanted 20 shares of Trayvon Brissell, right? Okay.
I'll pay you 20 shares to not. Sorry,
okay.
Trayvon. Good guy.
I'm gonna go.
No, that was my last pick.
Money Williams from Montana. Let's just go 15, and then I'm gonna call it there with $62 remaining to work with next time.
I literally just had that lightning bolt hit me. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna sneak in here and get money."
Did you watch that Tennessee game yet?
No, I'm
highly.
I'm too excited to do it.
He looked fantastic. So did Egor Milicic. Cameron Carr sighting looked very solid.
I did see that in the box score. I said, "Oh, Cameron Carr, welcome to the party."
He was good. He looks so much bigger than in high school too. Which, shocker. You got $34. Anyone?
Yeah, can you just I like Darian Reed a lot. Can you give me 10? I'm very intrigued. He's at he's at 30 33.
There we go. 33.4.
Oh, maybe math's not working right now.
So for $2.99 a share,
that's covered. Keep 10, the change, you filthy animal. Yeah, I just
10.
I'm done.
11. You want 10, 11?
No, I'll do 10.
10. All right. So you got
I can go home and I can get a Big Mac on the way home. Actually, not anymore in this economy.
That Will Riley one, you're gonna make a lot of money on.
Yeah. We're gonna print our own money.
Yeah.
But Reed and Freeman are two of my I have circled on Sharpie. And that's going back from high school stuff, but Reed really intrigues me a lot. That's one of those I watched and I was like, this one's going to get my attention. I just feel like you ever have those guys where you're like, I don't know why, but I'm gravitating to this one especially.
Yes.
You can't put your finger on it right away, but I just watched this high school stuff and I was like, there's something here that I am a very big fan of. Might not be this year, might be a second year, but wouldn't shock me if all of a sudden it just clicks this year.
Yeah, and there are a lot of tools to like.
Yeah.
Even the flashes like with Freeman and the Olympics with the Bahamas, very limited. But in that first game, there's some stuff there. It's like, need you to play. All right, that wraps up the stock game, which means we have to end the episode going to the basketball world's most exclusive club, the No Ceilings Green Room. Only 14 names get in, no more. One at a time. Currently, last week, the main event entered the green room. Cooper Flagg. Is he safe?
Yeah, he's safe.
Okay. Out in line are Egor Demin and Asa Newell. Who do you want to nominate to wait in line?
I'm going to say it right now on the air as a promise to everyone. I will have a graphic done next week for the green room. I have an idea. I sent it to Metcalf. Metcalf was like, I like it. Need some work. I'm going to say it out loud, though, on the air, just so you can embarrass me. Find me next week. I will nominate starting at guard for your Texas Longhorns, Tre Johnson. Is this the Tre Johnson hour?
Hi, welcome to the Tre Johnson Appreciation Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Metcalf. I feel like he has to be in line.
He's in line for sure.
I'm going to put Dylan Harper in line.
I feel like I'm holding off on the Dylan Harper extravaganza because I feel like it's going to hit like a hammer, and I'm just going to want to like talk about him all the time. It's fun. Every time I watch it, I'm like, if I get down this rabbit hole, I'm not going to be able to escape. I love him.
It's very fun. Ace Bailey's still at home nursing that injury, so it's a buzzkill at the club. So no injuries allowed. Once he's healthy, he'll likely jump to the front of the line.
He just signed with Nike, so Ace is at home. Very happy.
Would you say that he has a strong... No, I'm not going to say it.
I flipped it for the laptop across the room.
All right. Who's going in? Or is no one going in?
Egor shooting 20% from the free throw line. Free throw? Can he not get in until he gets into the 30s? I don't know what Tre.
The waiter keeps bringing beers over to their table, and he's just fumbling them all over the place, just knocking stuff out over everywhere.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. Like, no, I'm not going to go down that hole. I don't know what else Tre needs to do to get in.
I was going to vote for him.
Tre seems like a good one.
He may not be there all year, but I think right now.
Was Tim and Cooper teammates on FIBA? Or year separation? No, year separation. And then Cooper reclassify?
They were teammates at Hoop Summit, obviously.
Okay. Well, Hoop Summit, get some chemistry right away in the building. We can't have Cooper and Egor. That could be like, they need someone to break the ice. I like Tre there.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's a good one. He's earned it. Nominated and in line in the same episode. It's not something you see often in the green room. You usually got to wait in line for a little bit.
Just hopped right out the car, straight on in.
Is it, or is it just like he was getting in line and someone was like, Tre, what are you doing? Get in.
No.
Please. Okay, he just walked in.
With that confidence, he just walked in.
He just walked right in.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just strutted up to the door, bouncer immediately opened the rope for him, and he just went straight in.
When everyone has to remember, you can get removed from the green room, and you can also get removed and not even back in line. I think we've only done that a couple times, but injury is usually the big reason if we kick you out.
Typically.
Or it's just, you got to think about some stuff.
Or things go rough.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a good one.
Anything else?
No.
You good?
No. This was fantastic. Thank you.
Well, thanks everyone hanging out in the chat. You guys were awesome as always. NoCeilingsNBA.com. No Ceilings NBA across socials. Blue Sky. Are you just at Tyler Rucker on there?
No, I'm at the Blue Sky support actually for everyone that's coming. It's been so awesome. I was just like, whoa, you guys rock. We got a lot of really cool positive stuff, but I'm Tyler Rucker.thebluesky.social or whatever that is. So yeah, it's just Tyler Rucker. So you should be able to find me.
I am at Tyler Metcalf over on that fun app, at Team Metcalf11 on Twitter. He is at Tyler_Rucker on there as well. But if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe, review, leave a 5-star rating, all that good stuff. But until next time, see ya.